listening to a Matt Kahn video on my way to the paint store just a short while ago, and he said something very interesting. He was talking about how everything that we think will happen in the future is merely an assumption, that we have no idea what's going to happen in the next moment, that we have no idea whether we'll get to speak another word, really. We have no idea whether today is our last day. And he wasn't meaning to be morbid or you know, speaking of doom. He wasn't meaning that at all. What he was intending to do was to help liberate the listener. And I was, you know, listening through it and putting it through an acupuncture filter, and then it occurred to me that Yang Wei Mai has that built in. It has the notion of trust that the next moment will be exactly as it is, and it has built into it that we might best not make assumptions about the next moment. And the way that, you know, if you put Li Shijian's trajectory over it, which goes to GV-16, and we've talked about Yang Wei Mai a few times before, but when you think of Yang Wei Mai as a channel that governs optimism, it's in charge of enabling one to be in the present moment. That would be more Chow's, but that's also in the ways to be in the present moment and to trust that the next moment will be exactly as it's intended to be, according to one's destiny, as recorded in the Jing. Recorded's not quite the right word. As it's written in the Jing, in the blueprint that is the Jing. And so, you know, I've been listening to some meditation teachers and some spiritual teachers, just trying to get a grip on the future. And I found that very comforting, because it means that, you know, if you read the New York Times and you see these projections, or if you hear stories, as I did this morning, and you make projections, they're all merely assumptions. And Yang Wei Mai, which governs one's feeling about the future, terminates in the Jing. In other words, each moment can only arise from the blueprint. And I thought that was pretty cool, actually, and very relieving. And so I thought maybe a ripple to put out in the pond, out for all humanity today, could be topping and tailing that trajectory of Yang Wei Mai that does that, and that begins at the metal gate, bladder 63, on the side of the foot. And the idea of the metal gate is that you can put your foot forward and step into the next moment. The metal speaks of Wei Qi, so you're stepping out and you're bringing your Wei Qi with you, but also Wei Qi is determining the way in which you step out, which is in turn determined by how you're motivated according to the Jing. So GV-16 sits over the cerebellum, which is where well, I'm not sure if that's exactly where the basal ganglia are, but it sits over, GV-16 sits and resonates with the basal ganglia, which are responsible for translating intention into motion through the sinews. So the metal gate refers to that action. And the end of the channel, GV-16, And I'm terribly embarrassed that I have just forgotten the name of that point. Oh yeah, Wind Mansion. Wind Mansion. But it has lots of different names. Tongue root is one, root of preoccupation. Well, isn't that what we're talking about? Root of preoccupation. Oh, I like that one. Ghost hole. Ghost pillow is an alternative. It's called ghost pillow when you're doing the second trinity of the ghost treatments. Ghost forest, ghost hole, clear-headedness. All these wonderful names. So I thought if we could top and tail BL-63 and the Wind Mansion or the Ghost Pillow. Ghost Pillow just means that you're not tapping into, or you're not focusing in on the jing and the blueprint which governs the next moment. You've got a foreign idea which has nothing to do with the future. And that would be where it's called the Ghost Pillow. But anyway, I'm rambling. So let's get to work. I hope this sounds like a good ripple. And the ripple would be one of a kind of optimism that comes from a kind of trust that comes from an acceptance of the blueprint that we have individually and collectively. All right, thanks everyone. Let's get to work.